Hello and welcome to the How to Film Weddings YouTube channel. My name is John Bunn and I am oh so excited to be chatting with you today. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in to our channel. As always, if you're not subscribed already, please take a second, do that for us. It means the world. Today I'm going to be talking about how much should I charge for my wedding films. So let's get into it. Nick and I get asked how much should I charge for my wedding films in almost every single mentor session we do inside of our mastermind group. It's the question we get asked again and again, and a lot of people don't know, but there's a science behind how much you should actually be charging. So I want to get into what it is that you should be charging and give you some helpful tips to know that you're in the right range for your business. So there are some key factors in determining how much you should charge for your wedding films, and the first one of those is skill. How good are you? Are your films awesome? Do you know what you're doing? Do you have the skills to make somebody want to pay you for your wedding films? And I think a lot of us spend too much time on the skill side of things. We think if our wedding films are good enough, that's all we need, and we're going to make a ton of money, we're going to be rich, we're going to be famous, life is going to be good. No, that's not the correct thing. It's not the only thing. Skill is very important, but when I met Nick, he was better at shooting and editing than me, but I was charging 3 times as much. So why is skill not the only thing that matters? If you're not a unicorn in the industry where your skill is far, far above everyone else, it's going to be hard to only be the best at wedding filmmaking and know that you can charge the most. But skill is a very important factor in knowing what you should charge. If somebody in your market is just way, way better than you, you might not be able to charge more than them. The next thing on the list to knowing how much you should charge is your experience. We talk to people all the time in this Amazon Prime world, this buy it now, get it now world, this microwave mentality that I want it now. I've been in business for 3 months or 6 months or a year. Why am I not able to charge the big bucks? Why am I not able to charge more? Experience is huge when it comes to pricing yourself. How much experience do you have? How many weddings have you shot? How much time have you spent investing into your education with mentorships or courses or things like that? What is your experience? That is something that you need to factor in to whether or not you should be charging more and what you should be charging in general. So we have our skill and we have our experience. The next thing you need to look at is your brand. I'm talking not just your logo, I'm talking about your brand in general. How do people feel whenever they watch your wedding films? How do people feel when they go to your website, when they get an email from you, whenever you reach out to them, whenever you talk to them? What is the overall brand that you're putting out there? If your brand looks cheap, you can't charge more. If your brand doesn't fit the vibe of what you're going for, you're not going to be able to book the things you want to book. I fell victim to this a little bit, even though I was really good at shooting weddings and other things. I was booking high-end weddings, but my brand, especially my website and logo, didn't really match up to where I wanted to be charging. So I had to make a change. I just went through a complete rebrand from Redeems Productions to John Bunn Films, and I can tell you by rebranding and making sure that my brand aligned with where I wanted to charge, I can tell you that that has had a huge impact in the bookings that I've gotten. In the last 2 months, I have booked 2 weddings over $17,000 a piece, all since launching my new brand. So your brand is very important. And I'm not saying you have to have a brand new website and a brand new logo, but you have to look at your brand and say, is there something that I can do to this? Can I pay a designer to help me upload and create a new logo or a new website? Or can I do something where I purchase a new theme and update the website and it'll get me through 24 months or so, the next 24 months in my business and grow and help me to grow? You have to take a look at your brand and say, is there something I should upgrade? Should I make a better website? Should I pay for a template to get me through the next couple of years? Should I hire somebody? But you have to be self-aware on your brand. When people find you, when they go to your website, does it feel like what you want them to feel like? It's very important when it comes to knowing how much to charge for your wedding films. Next is one thing I think a lot of people don't think about when it comes to figuring out how much they should charge, and that is their connections. Who do you know Who knows you? Who are you connected with? Whose weddings have you filmed in the past? What connections do you have to the wedding parties of other couples you've worked with, their families, the vendors? Who are you connected with? I know people that have really good connections that have made a ton of money really fast because they had those connections. Connections are the thing that I see time and time again for people at the top end of wedding filmmaking markets. They are connected to other people that are charging a lot for their services. So make connections when you're working with other vendors, when you're working with couples, when you're out at networking events. Go do other workshops, get in front of other filmmakers and photographers and make connections. Connections are what are going to really propel you into the next level in your business. And when thinking about all the factors that come into play when charging people for your services, you have to pay attention to who you're connected with. If you're connected with the upper end market, it's a lot easier to charge upper end prices. And the last thing I want you to look at is your actual market. Where are you located? Where are you wanting to film weddings? What are other people charging in your area? When I first started, I would look around at other people in my market in Tulsa and say, well, they are better than me and they're charging this amount. So it wouldn't really make too much sense for me to charge too much more than them if my work wasn't as good, if my connections weren't as good, if my relationships weren't as good, if my brand wasn't as good. So I knew and was self-aware of where I'm at right now. Where am I at right now in my business? This is giving me a lot of different tools to know the ballpark of what I should be charging for my business. When I first got going, I realized I didn't have much experience. I didn't have very many connections, and the best in my area seemed to be charging $3,000 or $4,000. So I started out around $1,000, $1,500. And as I built connections, as I built the experience, as I built the brand, I could slowly start inching my pricing up. But knowing your market and knowing what people are charging in your market will help you determine what it is that you should be charging. As a side note, if what you want to be charging is over the top of your market, you might have to get outside of your market to get the prices that you really want for your wedding films. I do film some in Oklahoma, but a lot of my weddings now are either out of state or even out of the country. And that's something you need to factor in when pricing yourself for your wedding film business. So in recapping, you have to have the skill, you have to have the experience, you have to have the brand, you have to have the connection, and you have to have the market. You have to know your market. And then you can really start to price yourself in what would be a good area for you currently today. I want to end by talking about this though. Where do you want to go? Where do you see yourself going in your wedding film business? Do you want to be a $5,000 wedding filmmaker? 10,000, 20? Where do you want to be? You have to change your mindset that you are that kind of filmmaker before it actually happens. When I wanted to get up to $5,000 in charging for my films, I had to start acting like it. I had to start shooting like it. I had to start making connections like that. I had to do a lot of things, but you have to have your mindset shift first before you can make those changes. Where I'm currently at in my business is I'm pushing towards being a $20,000 wedding filmmaker, which blows my mind. It's not a flex. It feels weird even saying it, but the point is, I've started doing things that I have seen with people around me that are charging $20,000. I'm making connections like they are. I'm going to events like they are. And what do you know? I've changed my website. I've changed my branding. I've done the work. I see myself as a $20,000 filmmaker, but I'm still pushing towards that amount. So that is what I really want you to leave with today, to know how to price yourself and then to know what you need to do to get yourself to where you want to be. One of the things that we talk about today is getting experience, and that can be done through lots of things. It can be done through shooting, it can be done through mentor sessions, and it can also be done through courses. I want to say this, our complete wedding filmmaking course, complete wedding videography, is opening up soon to join. We only open it 2 times a year, so if you want a free section from that course, just our gift to you, all about consultations, hit the link in the description and you can download that section for free. It's like a 45-minute section just about consultations and how you can take those to the next level. But investing in something like the complete wedding videography course gives you more experience. It gives you more confidence. It helps you connect to more people in the industry, which will allow you to charge more for your wedding films. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like, this YouTube channel is so much fun for Nick and me and the rest of the team. We're seeing it grow. We're loving it. If you haven't yet, like the video, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. If you're still watching this, thank you for tuning in to Two Dorks. And I guess some more dorks now. Thanks for tuning in. This is stupid. I'm going to go to the gym now. I think I'm going to go work out. Almost done with my protein. Anyway, have a good day.